I have 6:02, so we're going to get this party started. How's that? Good evening. I'm Alan Wood. I'm President and CEO of Burke Development, Inc. I've been in Burke County now for about 5 years, and I'm going to take a point of personal privilege this evening and say thank you to my lovely wife for sharing our 36th wedding anniversary at the Candidates Forum this evening. So that tells you what a good wife she is, to go through me thick and thin to go to election proceedings. So thank you, Kelly. It's my privilege to serve as the moderator this evening. I'll start by stealing a quote from Thomas Jefferson, or at least that's who it's attributed to. Nobody will deprive the American public of the right to vote except themselves, and the only way they could do this is by not voting. So I thank you for being here to listen to what our candidates have to say so that you can make an informed decision, and I thank the candidates for taking their time and making the effort to take part of the political process. Without good candidates, the process goes nowhere. So thank you as well for being here this evening. Really appreciate it. In the interest, we've already got the candidates in the front, so we don't have to go through that process. I'd like to thank you to the Leviton Auditorium this evening. We appreciate the staff of the college who helped make this possible. Thanks to Stacy Scholler for working out the details for us, and to Dr. Helmick for his hospitality and the hospitality of the community college. Thanks to Lynn Marilla at Eagle Rock Camp for sponsoring the reception this evening, and to help us, if you will, see her and learn more about Eagle Rock Camp. And also thank you to Compass and Greg Branch for recording the forum, and to Tim Pittman with WPCC for taking care of the technology. As my mic is working, and as long as the clicker's working, I'll be happy. We're going to break the forum up into 4 parts. If you're running unopposed, then you will have 3 minutes to make your presentation. If you are part of a race that has opposition and the other candidates are here, you will get 2 minutes for an opening statement. You will be asked 3 questions. I will rotate the order in which those questions are asked, and then you will get a closing statement. I do ask you, in the interest of time and fairness, to please try to hold yourself to the allotted time. It's only fair that you do so. So you will get a 30-second notice, not 30-minute, 30-second notice. And then I will ask you, when you see that time, to please wrap up your comments. I'll give you a brief moment to finish your thought, and then I will go on to the next candidate. Okay? The questions will be projected on the screen as we go through them. I ask that you do hold applause until the end of each group of candidates, if you will, please. That way we keep the process rolling along. As I mentioned, we do have timekeepers, and I really thank you for helping me with this evening. One of them says she was mean, and if you talked over the allotted time, she was going to grab you by the ear and lead you off the stage. So I'll just throw that out there. So with all of that being said, we will start with just make sure we got this right. We'll get our clicker and we will be on our way. I think I've already covered special thanks, and we are ready to put this show on the road. Before I start, questions from any of the candidates? Okay, good deal. I will ask first, we have 2 candidates from the school board or the Board of Education that are running unopposed. So I'll invite R.L. Eichert up to make his 3-minute speech. Have a seat. Any one of them there you feel comfortable?
This one's got my name, so I'm going to stick.
Okay, that's good then.
No, it's a joke to tell the preacher he's got 3 minutes, right? My name's R.L. Eichert. I'm director of Foothills Service Project, as well as campus pastor for Crosslink Church and chaplain for the Sheriff's Department. I've served on the school board now for the past 8 years. I'm a former teacher. My wife back there of 47 years, Penny, is a retired teacher. Our daughter is currently a teacher at Hickory City Schools. So I know, I'm around education, have been all my life just about, and I'm proud of Burke County Schools. Went through a rough time 10, 12 years ago, but we are back on the cutting edge of things, and that's what I'm thankful for. Of the 115 school systems in North Carolina, we rank 22nd, and I'm very proud of that. That's back on the cutting edge, and that's where it's at. That's why I'm very proud of what we're doing. We have one of the highest graduation rates in the state at 89.7%. Burke Middle College continues to shine at 100% graduation rate. What a privilege that is. We believe in safety as well. We continue to improve the condition of our schools for safety. We've purchased smart helmets for our football team that is able to detect and prevent concussions. We now have 12 buses with seat belts. We have 56 buses with stop arm cameras, and we offer free sports physicals to all the middle school and high school athletes. Our facilities look the best that they've looked in a long time. Our maintenance and custodial staff just do a magnificent job, and to improve our facilities every day, new roofs, new driveways, new entrances, and the list goes on and on. We have some of the best teachers in the state. North Carolina is blessed, but Burke County is double blessed. I really believe we have some of the best teachers in the state, and you realize that we have over 900 teachers in Burke County schools. That boggles my mind. That might not boggle yours, but that boggles my mind. We have almost 1,500 employees, and I tell you, I've met these people. They're some of the finest around. We're thankful for them. Our teachers continue to improve themselves with more degrees and experience, and those things improve their teaching abilities. But their hearts are so big and they're so dedicated to students, I'm not sure their hearts can get any bigger. I'm just proud of our teachers and proud of the way they do. We're not only interested in the classroom, but we offer students all we can outside. We have evening meals at Mountain View and Walter Johnson to make sure the students get enough food. We offer secondhand breakfast for the ones who get there late in our middles and high school. Our construction classes, Freedom and Patton just finished a house, and it's ready to be sold. The construction classes built the house. What a way to learn, hands-on. I've watched them do those because with Foothills I get to see some of those things. And so, anyway, time to quit. But this board has worked very hard to offer world-class service to Burke County, and we're proud of that. And I hope you're proud of what the board's doing. So.
Thank you, Mr. Eichert. Appreciate it. Next to the podium, we have Don Hemstreet. He is running unopposed, and so therefore he will have 3 minutes to make a statement.
You have to sit down.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
I do better standing up. Thank you. I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve. As I get older, I get energized at processes like this. I'm the eternal optimist, and I really look forward to working and doing things in the future here. As you hear at RL, a lot of good things are going on. But the thing that energizes me, and a wonderful thing that I had, was something we did together as a community. We've got this brand new school, Mountain View School. Have you ever been over there? Seen it? Yeah, what a great place that is. State-of-the-art facility. Programs in it that they're just incredible. We've got this immersion language process where kids will come out of that system speaking languages that you and I can't speak. Maybe some of us can. What an energy that was. And I think that is a good thing to see. One of the things, though, that didn't occur in a vacuum. Something happened in this community, and it was a wonderful thing. Because in order for that to happen, there had to be a coalition and a group of people come together that normally maybe don't do that type of thing. We had the school board elected officials. We have the county commissioners as elected officials. We had city elected officials who had the presence to set politics aside, party issues aside, look at the big picture, and come together as a community to do something that was bigger than themselves and didn't concern themselves, but in a way was themselves. And that was to create this great school. And a monument to that sits right down the road, the cooperation we have together. And that took real working between board chairs, between members of the community. That's the kind of thing. I think if we could bottle that and send it to Washington, or send it to maybe some of our state people, we could do well. I'm so proud of this community. I'm proud of what we are as a community and the things we are doing together. And my effort is to work as a bridge in that, to continue that, to where children want to go to school and really want to go, want to have a good time, where teachers really want to teach, where administrators are free and not afraid to make decisions that they need to make. We understand the policy. We understand that what we're supposed to do. So we are right in that. So I get excited about opportunities to do that. I do better standing up because I jump around a little bit, but that's all right. I have, how much time I got? 30 seconds. I got 7 kids in this system, grandkids. My children were raised in it, they're in it. I get a lot of information, and it's good. So it's an exciting time in Burke County now. We see the School of Math and Science, the technical programs we have. There's a lot of energy in it, but we have to do it together. It can't be them and us. It's got to be us as a community. So I thank you for the opportunity to get back in the fray. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jim Street. We appreciate that. All right, now we go into races where there are multiple candidates. I'm going to break these up into their individual races. That way they can all be on the stage at the same time and answer their questions together, and you will have a better opportunity to judge their responses. So first, I will invite Wendy Craven Barber, Randy Burns, and Hope Hoyt to the stage. Okay, everybody comfortable and ready to go? I'll start then, and Wendy, you will have 2 minutes to make your opening statement.
Good evening. I'm Wendy Craven Barber, and I'm running for the Eastern District for Burke County Board of Education. I'm a retired principal with 28 years experience. I serve North Liberty School, Hildebran Elementary School, Table Rock Middle School, and Patton High School. Each year my schools met or exceeded growth. I have 2 children, Michael, who's a 2010 graduate of Patton High School, and a daughter, Caroline, who is a junior at Patton High School. I began my career in Chesapeake, Virginia as a special education teacher in middle and high school. In 1994, I came back to North Carolina and went to my alma mater, Davie High School, where I served as a special ed teacher and a varsity cheerleading coach. I then went to Stokes County Schools and began my administrative career as an assistant principal and assistant director of special programs. In '99, I came to Burke County as the principal of North Liberty School, where I was the Burke County Principal of the Year, and was also involved in a research study with the state of North Carolina called Mending the Leaky Bucket, which was a study of the top principals in the state who retained their teachers. This information was then used to teach other principals across the state best practices in teacher retention. At Table Rock Middle School, I was the Best of Burke principal 2 years in a row, but I think my greatest accomplishment was Patton High School. And in my last year, we had the highest growth in the county with 4+ on the growth. Also, I had 4 conference champions, women's swimming, men's soccer, men's golf, and men's basketball. And our football program was second in the conference behind state champions, High Brighton High School. So I feel like that I have the qualifications to be a member of the Board of Education for Burke County.
Thank you. Randy Burns, you will give your opening statement, please.
All right. I am Randy Burns. I'm currently the chairman of the Burke County Board of Education. I come to this back in 2011 in the fall. I was kind of an unusual candidate starting out. I attended school board meetings for 3 years before I decided that this was something that I wanted to pursue. Just a quick shout out to my wife of 26 years, Crystal. I have 2 children, 1 granddaughter who's going to be starting in Burke County Public Schools this year. I have been blessed to be the chairman of this Board of Education for the past 6 years. This past November, I was elected by an assembly of delegates from across the state to serve a 2-year term on the North Carolina School Boards Association's Board of Directors. I've been privileged to serve on the Academic Program Steering Committee for the Western Campus of the North Carolina School of Science and Math for the past year. I am currently the president of the Burke Partners in Education organization. And my heart when I came into this was to make sure that we're providing opportunities for all of our students. You know, we have a population of students who are going to go to college. Mom and dad have the dinner table conversations. It's destined, and that's what they're going to do. And then we have a population of students that will one day wind up going to college here at the community college. But my heart was for that 60% of our students that we kind of left behind with no options. And when this board came together, we really started to expand and look at our career and technical education opportunities. And in the past several years, we've added welding, agriculture, firefighting academies, Project Lead the Way, engineering principals in our middle schools and high schools, which is now being pushed down to our elementary schools. None of this can be accomplished without relationships. Relationships are what drive us forward. That worked out.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. And then Hope Hoyt, if you will, please make your opening statement.
Thank you. I'm Hope Hoyt, and I'm running for school board for the Eastern Division also. First, I'd like to thank my husband and some of our friends for coming and being here with us. We've been married going on 39 years. We have 2 children. They live in Catawba County. My son and daughter have both been through schools in Catawba County and through college. I have 1 granddaughter. She's not old enough to start school yet, but I think she's going to lead her father when she's ready to go to school. I'm a grassroots conservative, and I'm not embarrassed about being a grassroots conservative. I believe that we are and we need to conserve our most precious commodity, and that is our children. And in order to do that, we do have to work together as a group, as a community, as a county. I'd like to see our children progress to the state where they can look back and they can say the people in Burke County really do care. I'd be honored to have your support, and I look forward to the betterment of all of our children, our teachers, and our county. I would like to increase the school board's involvement with being a face in our schools, being there with our kids, getting to know our staffs and our kids, getting to know our administrations, and not getting lost in the shuffle and acting like, you know, we're on the school board. We don't have to be there all the time. I look forward to meeting all of you and talking with you, and I look forward to serving if that is your will. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hoyt. All right, now we'll go into our questions. Each candidate will answer the same question. I will change the order as you go, so each person has the chance to answer first through this process. I will start, and each candidate has 1 minute to answer the question, okay? First question will go to Mr. Burns. What do you see as the biggest challenge as a school board member, and what would you plan to do to address this moving forward?
Okay, there are several significant challenges. The first one that comes to mind is our capital needs. We have buildings around our county that were built in the 1930s, and it provides us a unique opportunity. Our capital improvement budget every year is around $2 million. Those monies are going to be, we need to strategically use those monies to make sure that we shore up and maintain the facilities we've got. We had a facilities study done a few years ago. We have to have one every 5 years from the Department of Public Instruction, and it showed roughly $90 million worth of capital improvement needs in this county. $2 million a year is not going to do that. So what we have to do is look at the lottery funds, and we need to pull those down while we invest these dollars wisely to make sure that we're maintaining our buildings that we have. At the same time, we're pulling down these capital dollars from the lottery fund and what's called Article 42 to make sure that we use new construction dollars, and eventually we'll get that to the point where it'll offset. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hoyt, if you would, same question.
Okay. I'm not really sure how to address what the biggest challenge is, because I think there's a lot of challenges we face in a community in regards to kids, in regards to how we're going to educate them, in regards to meeting each child's individual need. And I think a big challenge for me is I hear a lot from some of the students about being bullied. And that is something that weighs on me, because my daughter was bullied in school. And so when I hear of kids that are bullying, I think it's to try to find ways so our kids can work together to become better acquainted with each other and maybe learn to work together as we do as adults. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Barber?
I think the biggest challenge as a school board member would probably be the biggest challenge as a principal, and that is to have an open door policy, and for people who want to speak to you to be able to come and speak to you and not be in fear of the ability to do that. And when that information is given to you, to be able to ascertain that information, process it through, and do the right thing. And you also have to be very confidential in how you deal with issues. And if someone comes to you, you can't throw them under the bus, to say. So I feel like that is the most important thing for a board member, anyone in administration, is for people to know that they can trust you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to our second question. And this will be to Ms. Hoyt, who will get to answer this first. And this has been a major theme since I've been in Burke County pretty much, and it's a wonderful opportunity. It also comes with challenges on how do we take advantage of that opportunity. So the question is, how do you see the school system working with North Carolina School of Science and Math to have the biggest impact for their students as well as the students in Burke County?
There again, I think that's a question. Math is a problem for a lot of kids. I think a lot of kids are interested in the sciences, but without the math, they don't have that. I think we need to be encouraging. I think we need to look at our kids, especially our girls, and say, you can do it. Math is an important function of everything you're going to do in this world. And as far as working together, I don't know enough, and I'm not going to lie. I don't know enough about what's going on with the Math and Science Center to actually give you the kind of answer that if I knew more, I would give you. I'd rather be truthful. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Barber.
I see this as a blessed opportunity for Burke County, in that our high school students would be able to go to that campus and have classes, and that maybe even Burke County schools could reciprocate that favor in some of the things that we offer that the School of Science and Math may not be able to offer. Also, there's online classes, online programs that our students can do. Sometimes with our highly gifted students, maybe they don't want to go to the School of Science and Math, but maybe there's a class at the School of Science and Math that they can attend. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of our students, but particularly our academically gifted students.
And then Mr. Burns.
This is a relationship that actually began some years ago when we opened our STEAM Academy on the eastern ridge of the North Carolina School for the Deaf. When we opened the STEAM Academy, we developed a relationship and a partnership with the North Carolina School of Science and Mathematics in Durham to deliver that virtual content to our students. We had students over there taking classes in aerospace, just to name one. Like I had mentioned in my opening, I have been serving on the Academic Program Steering Committee for the School of Science and Mathematics for this campus. And I can't tell you in a minute, but there are a lot of opportunities that are coming for our students, whether it be internships. Well, a minute is a minute, but just rest assured there are opportunities that are in the works. This campus here at Western Piedmont Community College is going to play a major role in that also.
Thank you. All right, and then we will go to the third question, and this one will go to Ms. Barber. First, what do you see your role as a board member for the school system?
Well, I feel like that my role would be unique because I have been in education myself and been a school principal. I do know curriculum from preschool to the 12th grade level. I know athletics. I completely revamped a high school athletic program. So I feel like that I would have a certain skill set that I could bring to the table, that I could actually understand programs that the school board was being asked to implement and really be very helpful in that nature since I have done all of it.
Mr. Burns?
What do you see as your role as a board member? It's really simple. It's defined actually in a general statute. Our job is not to be the administration. Our primary job is to hire a qualified administration. And once we do that, our job is to set our eyes to the future and to make sure that we're removing roadblocks from that administration so they don't trip when they get there. We don't manage the day-to-day operations of the school system. That's what we hire a superintendent for. And once we get to the point where we think we can, if we think we can go into the classroom and affect some kind of change, we just went through 3 layers of accountability. We went around the teacher, we went around the director, and we went around the superintendent. No good team functions unless every team member knows what their role is. You can't put 5 point guards on the basketball court and expect a decent outcome. You can't put 11 quarterbacks on a football field and expect a decent outcome. The most significant challenge any board member has is knowing their role and making sure that they stay in their lane.
Thank you. And Ms. Hoyt?
I feel and I believe that as a school board member, our job is to address what's going on within our school systems, not get involved in the political part of it, pay attention to, let's just say, there again, being that visible force amongst our school. I do agree with Mr. Burns about not getting, trying to step on the toes of someone like a superintendent. But our job is actually to oversee a lot of the stuff that's going on with that school board. If we're not doing that, then we're not doing our jobs. I also feel that it would be very important for us to go out to the community and make ourselves visible, not just during elections, not just during, a function going on like a fair or something, but all the time, so they can see who we are and know what we are and what we're about, and get to know us as individuals and as people, because it comes down to it's a personal thing with these kids. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hoyt. Okay, and now each candidate will have 2 minutes for their closing statement, and we will start with Mr. Burns for that.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you, Chamber and Western Piedmont Community College, for allowing us to come tonight. Thank you for all the folks that are at home watching Compass Cable. Really want to sum it up as this. This takes relationships in order for this thing to work. And that is something that we have built over the years. We have a county commission that, in my opinion, is second to none. We have a relationship with them that is absolutely unprecedented across this state. Chairman Carswell actually invites me from time to time to attend the Association of County Commissioner meetings to speak on education issues. we have a great opportunity here to keep this train on the tracks and keep doing some really good things and keep providing opportunities for our students as we move forward. I'm currently working with 2 of our representatives on some issues relative to our school system, and hopefully those things are going to come to fruition here in a couple of weeks. Working on with Congress on a couple of issues related to the state retirement system that hopefully we're going to make some ground on that. But none of this happens without relationships. It's taken 8 years to build those relationships and get to the point where I have cell phone numbers that I can call and say, I need your help. We're not in a place in our history in this county where we need to start over. We need to keep moving forward. So, guys, I would appreciate your vote. I would be honored to have your support and your prayers, and let's do this together.
Thank you. Ms. Hoyt, you go next, please.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not a politician. I'm not an educator. I volunteered in many school systems with my kids. I taught a Say No to Drugs program for the children in our town we lived in. I also taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade art at a time when they were cutting out art programs from the junior high sector. And I felt it was important that a lot of these kids need to express themselves through art. I served as the chairman of the Parents Advisory Council, which was for disabled children. We advocated for kids. We had to know the laws in the states, several different states. We advocated in different states for our children and sometimes had to refer them to the legal end of stuff. We actually wrote grants to get money so we could have speakers come in and educate parents about some of the disabilities and teachers so that they could better understand what a lot of those children are going through. I have no personal interest in this. I have nothing to personally advance myself except the county I live in. I'd like to address something as to why this budgeting that's going on, where teachers are having to take out of their own pockets for supplies that should be included in a budget, such as Kleenex, such as handy wipes, whatever the case might be. I also believe school security is an important thing, and I will work hard to make sure our children are safe. I believe that we need security all around our schools to protect those children that go in. That security is probably the one thing that parents are very concerned about when it comes to their children. I also like to strive to bring our school grades up. We got great grades in this county, and it's an honor to live in a county that has these kind of grades. But I also think that we can do better, and I think we can do better with the help of our entire community. All the parents, all the teachers, all the school board, anybody that's involved in anything having to do with our kids, our church leaders, we can do this, but we got to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hoyt. And finally, Ms. Barber.
Well, I agree with both of them. It does take relationships and working together, very much so. And each community is very distinct in Burke County. What's that way everywhere? But some of the things that I really feel like that we could do to make things even better in our relationships and things that I would like to work on, one of the things is equity among our students, especially our high school students. I feel like they should have a voice and be heard. Also, with our site-based management, I think we really need to utilize that to empower our teachers, our school administrators, and our community. Our accountability and our spending. I feel like there's some supplements that need to be looked at for our teachers and other school employees. We need to look at our retention of our teachers, especially our veteran teachers who can retire, the ones that are retiring, and administrators who retired or retired early. Why is that happening? It's not just the Burke County thing, but why is that happening? And what can we do? How can we help the state with that? We need to increase our revenue in our athletic programs. This is the meat and potatoes for the schools. We need to hire the most qualified coaches that we can and to supplement them accordingly. If you really want to have an athletic program in this county, that's what you're going to have to do. We need to evaluate the need for new buildings and what can we do to the some that we have to renovate them. We need to assess our current programs being required for our teachers to use and our moving of our principals around is, we do that too often. And it takes a good 3 to 4 years for a principal to get a stronghold in their community to assess the needs of the school, the teachers, and the students. We're not doing such a great job with that. We need to look at that. And those are the things that I would like to work on if I'm elected. Thank you.
All right, that will conclude the first group. And these are, once again, candidates for the eastern seat for the Board of Education. If we would give them a round of applause. And now, if we can, we would like to switch out for the next group. As I've been informed, this would just be two, as Mr. Fox had not responded in time to be placed on the agenda. So I would invite Maurice Beam and Edna Weller to the front, please. Okay. So then that will change our dynamics for this, since you will, there's not an opposing candidate. We will just have you do a 3-minute statement. Yeah, opening and closing statement. Would you like to stand? Or
I'm like Dr. Don. I like to stand.
Okay. So she'll have 3 minutes to make her presentation.
Good evening. I am Edna Weller, and as you can tell by looking at me, I've got a few years under my belt. I have been a very active member of this community my whole life. I was born here. I was educated here. My children, my grown children, are educated here. My grandchildren. My youngest grandson, Zach, is entering Patton High School this year. My granddaughter graduated from East Burke High School, and she chose teaching as a career. She is in her 7th year this year teaching at Eichert Elementary, teaching 4th grade. I have come through school with all of my family. My family is very important. But as one of my grandsons told me at Liberty when they were there, one of the older grandsons said, "Gran, I don't need you here all the time." And I said, "Damien, I'm not here just for you. I'm here for all of these children, and I'm going to be here for all of these children." I have the 2 grandsons that are just 3 weeks apart. When they both went to Appalachian for 4 years, I went to Appalachian for 4 years and served on the Parent Advisory Council. That was one of the most exciting experiences I've ever had. I enjoyed it, met wonderful people. So I just want you to know, and I'm also, my granddaughter has presented me with a great-granddaughter who will be 3 Saturday. She has a little brother cooking in the oven. She thinks he's ready to come out. But starting a whole new generation. So I'm going to be involved for a while, whether I get reelected or not. But I can tell you I very much want to be reelected because it means so much to me. In my opinion, education and knowledge is the cornerstone of our whole society. We've got to do what is necessary to educate our children, to get them where they are. We can't lose one of them. I don't want to lose one of them. We've got to find ways to grab them where they are, work with their abilities, and bring them up, help them to realize their full potential based on their abilities. Everybody's not the same, but everybody has potential. And I want every child in Burke County to realize that potential and to grow up and be an outstanding citizen of Burke County, to give back, to be our leaders that are here. And I think I'm got to stop. but I did talk from the heart. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Weller. All right. So that takes us through the school board candidates, and we will now move on to town of Hildebran. We have one council member candidate that is with us, Matthew Lucas Church. If you will, come up and you will have 3 minutes, and you can stand or sit, whichever you feel more comfortable.
I think I'll stand too.
All right.
I came here tonight planning on having someone to challenge me. Apparently it didn't happen. Something that's very important to me in Hildebran is the relationships that we're going to build outside of just the town of Hildebran. If you go through Hildebran now, you're going to notice things that past councils will talk about, the old school, things of that nature. And you're going to notice that the town of Hildebran's kind of dropped off the map just a little bit. I want to bring us forward. We need to work on improving the facilities that we have. We need to do things for the youth that we have in Hildebran. You know, everybody takes their kids to Valdez or Morganton or anywhere else within the county. It's time we bring Eastern Burke County back on the map. And I think that I'm the person that's going to be able to do that. We also need to invest in local businesses. We have a lot of empty buildings in Hildebran that I think could be utilized for industry of any nature, whether it be small local businesses we could work with or large ones. That's why I put in my candidacy. That's why I think I'm going to be the best candidate for Hildebran. Is we need to improve what we have. We have the budget. It's there. It's time we just move forward with the town. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Church. We're moving right along here. So next, we have two candidates for the city, for the mayor's office. And if they will, make their way to the front. We have with us this evening Adam Pruitt and Ronnie Thompson. We will go through the same process that we had. You would have 2 minutes for an opening statement. We have 3 questions, and then you have 2 minutes for a closing statement. So we will start, and I have Mr. Pruitt, you have 2 minutes to start with your opening statement.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this forum, but just as importantly, I would thank all of you guests here and at home, because democracy only works with your informed participation, and taking the time to learn more about your candidates is your duty. So thank you very much. For those who didn't hear, my name is Adam Pruitt, and I'm offering my experience and time to be your mayor of Morganton. I was born at Grace Hospital, the son of a Burke County school teacher, and the son of a recently retired machinist down here at Leviton. I graduated from Burke County Public Schools and went on to college at UNC and ASU, and my work experience speaks for itself. I've managed millions and dispersed millions in government funds, working in financial aid, helping students who need it the most afford to go to college. I've helped small business add technology to make them more efficient and cost effective. Right now, I currently travel the world as a Coast Guard certified merchant marine, ensuring ships meet safety regulations and assisting our military supply troops overseas, while occasionally doing the other things involved on a ship, like staring down hurricanes and pirates and other hazards. I'm willing to give that up for a time because of Morganton changing so rapidly, and we need someone willing to look forward to plan for those problems of tomorrow today. We do not face new problems. Other cities have addressed them and come out on top. From housing to infrastructure, homelessness, we can ensure we use government as it is intended to be, as a way for all of us to do more and make life better together. I've looked into these issues and I have a plan to address all of them, and I look forward to working with the council and all the city's employees to ensure Morganton doesn't become just another suburb of Asheville, but blazes its own trail.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Thompson, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Ronnie Thompson. I am the mayor of Morganton, proud to serve Morganton and all its citizens. Born at Grace Hospital, just like Adam. Lived my first 26 years in Valdez with my family. Met a woman here at Western Piedmont, got married, and lived 43 years in Morganton. In the 70s, I did a lot of service with the Boy Scouts of America, president of the Relford College Lions Club. In the 80s, I got involved with Rotary, got elected to the Burke County Commission. In the 90s, I chaired the Burke County Commissioner, got elected president of the Chamber of Commerce, elected to City Council in 2013, and then elected to mayor's office in 2015. Currently, I serve on the trustees of Western Piedmont Community College and on the foundation for Western Piedmont Community College. I believe service is a key when you are elected to office, and I think dedication is a key. If you're not dedicated to your city and don't want to serve on committees and be a part of the community, then you really won't be a good leader. I've tried my best to be as involved as possible. I get criticism for my photo opportunities occasionally, even when I'm with my foot in a cast, but I still want to show up because it's real important that we have new businesses come to Morganton. I don't want to be a suburb of Asheville. I want to be better than Asheville. I believe we can be that. I believe we're on the rise. We've got a great city staff. I enjoy working with them, true professionals, some with 30 years of experience and do not want to retire because it is a great place to work, and I look forward to serving with them.
Okay, and now we will go into the questions. The first question may be a plant. I'm not sure who wrote this one, but it's one that's near and dear to my heart. So,
Yeah.
How can the city of Morganton best work with Burke County and Burke Development to attract and enhance economic development? And what you think should be the focus of our economic development efforts? Mr. Thompson, if you will, answer this first, please.
I'm not sure who wrote this question. It sounds like he wants an answer. I believe the critical issue in Morganton and Burke County right now is housing. We really need housing. We have people who want to come here and work in our industry but cannot find housing. I think that is the way to attract and enhance economic development. If people want to come and start an industry here, they can't find workers. We have to have housing here. I believe the focus on that has been with, in a very recent past, is with the Board of Realtors, the business community all across the county commissioners are involved. And I think to enhance and attract economic development, you have to have that housing. That's critical. Alan, you do a good job, but you can't do it unless you have the tools to work with. So I think that's the key, and the best thing to do is work together to bring housing. I know the college is working right now with a trade school. We're trying to get a big building so that people can learn plumbing, electrical, and those types of things to really help the construction industry. So that's how by working together, we can make it happen.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Pruitt.
I couldn't agree more. Wholeheartedly, housing is the number one thing keeping Morganton back from growing. But I think there's things we can do now that don't just include building. We can lighten zoning laws. We can access smaller modular home partnerships with architects in town. There are things that we can act on now to make the housing crisis that we're currently in something that we can look past in the future. I also think if we're going to attract more business to Morganton, I think infrastructure is something we need to take a very hard look at. We've had issues just in the past few weeks with local restaurants and businesses having to shut down because of a water main break. There's also ample opportunity to grow what types of business we attract to Morganton with added infrastructure and fiber optic and other modern businesses that Morganton can look to attract. Those are the things that I think most wholeheartedly will affect us going forward.
And I guess now we will sort of can have a continuation, because the next question is on affordable and workforce housing. And that's another one that's near and dear to my heart that I spend a lot of my time on. So if we will, Adam, if you would like to continue your thoughts on that.
Happily. There are so many suburb communities around the country that have faced housing crunches, housing shortages, housing inflation. Morganton is rapidly approaching a housing inflation problem. The average income in Burke County is less than $40,000 for a family. And $1,000 housing can't put them in a place that they can call home. We need to look at smaller housing options and building communities with affordable housing that those people can access. And in the meantime, reopening the housing market from all the resources that we've got just sitting, lying dormant, that people aren't taking advantage of, waiting for a better deal. We need their help now. Morganton has become a place where everyone wants to live, where everyone wants to come to work, and not just visit to eat, but to build a family and to build a life. And making these changes in both zoning and building and infrastructure will help attract and make those things happen.
Thank you. And Mr. Thompson?
I agree with Adam. Housing needs to be addressed, and infrastructure definitely needs to be addressed. We do have infrastructure problems. The new hotel, we've had to go in and change water and sewer lines and work on electrical systems. So that is the really steps that you need to take is going to take the whole community with the Board of Realtors and with developers. We do have developers that come in almost on a daily basis and meet with city staff to talk about bringing workforce development. We have a new project that it looks like is going to go on Enola Road that is property owned by the community college. That'll probably be up to 200 units, and that's just a drop in the bucket. We need much more than that. So it is going to take working with the county and working with the city to make it happen.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And now with the final question, we have another common theme because I think this one is very important. What should the City of Morganton do to welcome the School of Science and Math? And what can the city do to maximize the advantages that the school will bring to our community? Mr. Thompson, you first.
I'm not sure that the City of Morganton can do anything more to welcome the North Carolina School of Science and Math. We've almost given them the keys. They have been welcomed, and we encourage them to continue to grow and prosper. I know our city manager serves on that board as they've come in, and we are trying our best to work on the advantages because those students here will be volunteering in our community. They're required to volunteer in the community and required to volunteer at the school. And we want to make sure they volunteer as much with the city as possible because that integrates them. They can go back and tell their parents that this is a great city to come. We would hope those parents would move here. It may cause more housing shortage, but we would encourage them to be here. And we hope the students who graduate from School of Science and Math decide to stay here. We have a great community, as you all know. Our greenway is unlike any greenway in Western North Carolina. We have great recreational opportunities, and it's a great place to live, grow, and finish your life here. So we are going to continue our best to give that school as much advantage as we can to make sure they're successful.
And Mr. Pruitt, same question.
I most certainly agree. I have an intimate experience with the School of Science and Math curriculum. I've had a lot of friends go through, and that sense of volunteerism that they impart on their students is one of the greatest resources that the School of Science and Math uses to influence the community and influence the people around them, not just to build a better community, but to bring influence and money from outside sources that see what they do in the community. Adding those volunteer opportunities and having them ready for that first generation, for that first time they come in, is necessary and absolutely needed. These entrepreneurs are the youngest, brightest points in our state, and they're going to need places of business and business development zones to build their ideas. When they go to school, they need to know that they have a place in Morganton where they can cost effectively start their lives. I do believe housing will still be a problem, but we can look toward at least catering to those business needs as well as finding those housing options.
And now we will have closing statements, and Mr. Thompson, you'll go first, please.
And again, I'd like to thank the Chamber and Alan for you as a moderator. In closing, I'd like to say we've got several immediate needs in Morganton. First, we need to finish the Marriott Hotel, which is just about finished. Hopefully it'll open in December. We need to hopefully get the steakhouse up and running. I know people have been after me to get the steakhouse completed. And another thing that really will be starting construction on are new soccer fields. We can't have soccer tournaments, youth soccer tournaments in Morganton because we only have 4 soccer fields. If we have 2 more, we can have tournaments here in the city, and our students won't have to go to Greensboro and Charlotte to play. When we have 52 ball teams on one side end of the greenway playing Little League Baseball, we can have 52 teams playing soccer on the other end of the greenway, and we all need a place for them to stay and spend their money while they're in Morganton. Some of the other issues that are going to be developing is Fiddler's Run. When I first got elected, the old shopping center, the old Walmart, was almost empty. We've almost completed it. We have 2 empty buildings there now. I'd like to get Fiddler's Run full. That's real critical that we have more shopping available in Fiddler's Run. It's a great location and would make a great place for business to locate. Continue to work with NCSSM, and again, housing. That's going to be the critical issue over the next 4 years. Again, I'd like to thank city staff for the job they do. They just take care of issues before they become problems, and I'm just extremely grateful for my city council and the city staff we have.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And finally, Mr. Pruitt, you have 2 minutes.
Morganton is really riding a wave of success right now, built by incredible small businesses and entrepreneurs that have made us the growing thing that we are. But if you want to go further, you don't just ride a wave of success. You take control of that wheel and plan a vision and initiate where you want to go. You don't just take it as it comes. There are things we can do right now to help the people of Morganton prepare for that successful future together. Again, the average income is low. You want more access to housing in the city, you have to remove zoning restrictions on smaller lots, partner with businesses, and ensure that the market has more than those high-end apartments. You need something that's accessible. Do you want more business? It requires those infrastructure investment. You can't have a luxury infrastructure at a bottom dollar. You have to take the time, you have to take the effort. We have a huge potential for what fiber could do for us, both residentially and commercially. You can't exceed luxury without the investment. The best costs more, and we can do better. Do you want to solve the problems before they become issues? Empower the voices that these problems affect most. Allow the various councils of the city, the businesses, the minority concerns, and others to be able to add items to the council agenda itself. Give them a voice. And that's not providing lip service. That is giving them power and the ability to influence how this city is run. The measure of a man or woman in politics isn't what they believe, it isn't how they feel, it isn't just the love for their city, but it's what they can do. It's the results. And I have more than just my love. I have a vision to see it through. Again, my name is Adam Pruitt, and I look forward to serving the city and look forward to the challenges this opportunity presents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, now we will move on to the City of Morganton Council members. I will bring you up to speak with the group that you are running with in your districts. So first up to the stage, please, we will have the candidates for the District 1 race, which would be Isaac Crouch, Butch McSwain, and Sydney Simmons. So just to go over the format for you again, each candidate will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. There will be 3 questions. Each candidate will answer the same 3 questions, and then you will have 2 minutes for your closing statement. So that's 2 minutes opening statement, 1 minute to respond to the question, and 2 minutes for a closing statement, okay? And so we will start with the first opening statement. We go to Isaac Crouch.
Thank you, Alan, and thank you to the Chamber and to Western Piedmont and to all the other candidates here and to all of you here today and watching at home. I can't stress enough how important I believe it is for us all to participate in this process. I've spent the last 4 years with my podcast, Citizen Earth, trying to connect you to your city representatives and to the candidates that are running to represent you and trying to hold them accountable. I've also met so many amazing people here in Morganton, and that experience has made me fall in love with this place and made me realize how great of a place it is to live, work, play and raise a family. But I'll be honest with you, growing up here, I didn't particularly feel that way. I wanted to get out. I went to school at App State, got my degree in science, and then went to graduate school in Michigan for education. And then I wanted to travel the world. And then the unexpected happened, and my daughter was born. And that provided an anchor for me to come back here and build my life here. And I've been here for 6 years. I've been back here for 6 years after growing up here and going away. Since I've been back, I developed a career in nonprofit and small business finance. I've started a nonprofit charity group, and I've also become a small business owner myself. I'm running because I truly love this city, and I'm invested in its future whole cloth. I'm in it for the long run. I want my daughter to have more opportunities than I do here and to want to live here as well. I think we can really build on the past few decades of growth that we've seen through multiple ways. Number one, I think we can become a leader in technology by developing a fiber internet program out of our existing fiber internet infrastructure. I think we can do more to live up to our slogan of nature's playground and become a leader in environmental stewardship. And I'm out of time, but I think we can also provide greater accessibility and transparency in our government and rebuild trust that has been broken in our city council. So thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. McSwain.
Well, I'd like to echo the thanks to everyone for putting this on. I'm used to standing up, so I'm not sure what I've got going on here. I think it's important that the citizens see who the people are behind all those signs all over town. I'm Butch McSwain, and I'm the person behind the pretty green ones that are stuck everywhere. Linda and I have raised 3 children here. We've been here about 40 years. She's a native. I'm proud of the effect and the influence that this town had on those 3. Thanking the school system, 2 of them, our 2 sons, are both in education. One of them's in administration, and one of them is a teacher at Ashley High School in Wilmington. As a 26-year, I'm far older than that, 26-year employee of the Parks and Recreation Department here, I've gotten to know the citizens of this town. I feel like that I will represent all the citizens here. We do have issues that have been outlined in the questions before us that we're facing. I think the 1997 master plan that the Recreation Department adopted, just think what we accomplished out of that in 15 years. The Greenway, the expansion of the Greenway, the soccer field and its expansion, Catawba Meadows, the redoing of several parks, Martha's Park downtown, enclosing the swimming pool down at Mountain View. And we are at the point where over the next 15 years of the plans that were just adopted, the next 4 years will be crucial in planning those. And I feel like my experience positions me very well to represent you as we develop these plans. And I think I just saw the stop sign coming up.
Thank you, Mr. McSwain. And then Mr. Simmons.
I also want to thank the Chamber and Community College for allowing us to come speak. I am going to be rather brief, as I've already heard the thread about grabbing ears. With a set of ears like I got, I don't want anybody grabbing them. For the past 8 years, I've had the honor of representing District 1 in the Morganton City Council. I'm proud of my reputation for speaking up for the citizens, property owners, and taxpayers of Morganton. Proof of this was when I voted against a tax or fee to register your vehicle in the city. I have been a Mason for 35 years and believe in helping people. I retired from the Department of Motor Vehicles and was a driver's license examiner in Morganton for many years. Many of you probably got your license renewed by me, and some may have gotten your first-time license. While working at driver's license, I tried to be fair, honest, while trying to help every person as much as possible. This I have carried forward to my time with the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will begin the questions. The first question will go to Mr. McSwain, Describe your vision for the redevelopment of the Broughton campus. What role do you see the City of Morganton playing in those efforts?
As a recreation person and parks person, my goodness, that's a dream to be able to take over and start working with the state in developing that property. I have been very closely watching the development of the Dorothea Dix Hospital property in Raleigh, and that has been a political nightmare. I think that we are a small enough town with an active enough staff that we can avoid all those pitfalls. There is certainly potential of housing. There's potential of businesses. There's a lot of green potential. One of my heroes majoring in Parks and Recreation was Frederick Law Olmsted. I didn't know until last week that he had the planting designed for Broughton Hospital. That to me is just spectacular. I mean, I would like to see that protected as it is developed. The Biltmore plantation, the Biltmore house and grounds up there have been able to stay true to his original plans. And I'd like to see that worked in as it develops.
Next would be Mr. Simmons.
Broughton Hospital we've got opportunities galore. Housing, we can work on that for our medium and low renters housing. The business end of it, the grounds, we just got all the opportunity in the world to take advantage of it.
Mr. Crouch?
So actually, I thought about this. So you're getting me right off the cuff here. Old Broughton campus, given its location, it's right in between the new Broughton campus and the NC School of Science and Math. I think it'd be a great idea to kind of do some of the stuff they were talking about in the mayoral questions earlier with getting these kids at the School of Science and Math opportunities to engage in not necessarily volunteerism, but maybe partnering with our local businesses and maybe providing business incubators where they can come and learn and practice what they're learning. I know there's a nonprofit called the Industrial Commons, which you should really check out, and they are working on a similar kind of business incubator campus over one of the old Drexel heritage areas where they used to have the plants. And I think that kind of similar idea that they're working on, it's a really exciting idea. I encourage you all to look into it, but it'd probably be a really cool thing to have on the old Broughton campus as well.
Thank you. All right, second question. This will go to Mr. Simmons first. What steps do you support to address the shortage of affordable and workforce housing in Morganton and Burke County?
Well, like I mentioned before, I think the buildings at Broughton are an opportunity for more housing. The city is doing, I think, probably everything that we can come up with, and we're open for suggestions if anybody's got any about furnishing more housing. And I'm like has been talked about earlier tonight, the $1,000, $1,200 a month rent is kind of hard for somebody just starting to make ends meet. So we've got to get a reasonable housing. Thank you.
Mr. Crouch?
I recently attended the Housing Summit, I believe put on by the Chamber and BDI. And I guess what I learned there with all the different people coming together and trying to look at this issue was how complex of an issue it actually is and how it really will take a group effort. I think it seems to me there could be more of a focused committee group that is a liaison from the city to the various groups that are involved with housing, with the realtor associations, with the construction workers, with the education side of it, and really bring those people to the city so that we can make the most informed decisions in how to push this forward and how to solve this incredibly complex issue that I don't think any one person is going to be able to solve.
Thank you. Mr. McSwain.
I was at the same summit, and Al and you guys are doing a great job with that. I worked with Gary Linhart, and I think those of you that remember how he served this community, we tried to find a way in every instance that we can say, yeah, we can do that. We can help you. And I think our whole city staff, which are professional as they can be and just an absolute joy to be around. When I went back as the interim director during that time, I was very impressed with the way they cooperated with each other, the teamwork they showed, and the professionalism with which they dealt with problems. But I think sometimes we take that something that can't happen, and that's the end of it, instead of trying to find a way. Let's find a way that we can bring small houses, if that helps bring college and high school graduates in here. Apartment complexes that, yes, we have to worry about the infrastructure. My stop sign is up, and I was just getting rolling.
Thank you. I know a minute's pretty quick to have to address this. But, and then, so finally, we will go to the third question, and Isaac, you will have this one first. How would you address the impact of a large number of homeless people who are seen daily in downtown Morganton and nightly camping in the parks and wooded areas around our community?
This issue is something that's pretty close to my heart. With the nonprofit I helped to found, we've been serving meals to the homeless for about 3 years now. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of them, and also working closely with the various other nonprofits in the area doing the work. Meeting Place Mission, House of Refuge, BUCM, Olive Hill Community Group. I think that we can create a much stronger partnerships with all these nonprofit groups. Right now, we provide a grant to them once a year, which is great, but after that, it doesn't seem to really come up much. I think we can provide matching money for grant money or for other grants for them. We can locate and help develop, tiny home villages. We can develop work programs for the various work that needs to be done in the city. Cleaning up our streets, cleaning up after festivals, et cetera. I just think there's a lot more that can be done, a lot stronger partnerships with our nonprofits that are already doing great work, and they know how the best ways to tackle this issue.
Thank you. Mr. McSwain?
I think I've been throwing a fastball here. For the last January, I joined the board of the Meeting Place, which is a homeless program. We have transitioned over 35 families and individuals into living quarters, 20 with jobs that look really good. We hold our fingers crossed all the time, of course, that they will last, but there is a way to meet this. There are two different groups of homeless here that we're having to deal with, and we've got to reach somehow in that. There are some who are here with financial setbacks, which put them in a situation where they are homeless. We've got some that it's a lifestyle, and there's no question that lifestyle group is tough. There is nothing, I can't imagine how somebody visiting our town when they drive through and see the group of people under the oak trees. There are plans, there are things that can be done with that, but it takes the cooperation of everybody. I would like to see we'll continue this in my closing.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Simmons.
Maybe what I've got to say may not be too popular with everyone, but Morganton is a magnet. We're not only looking after our homeless, we're looking after Asheville's and Hickory's and Lenore's and everybody else that knows they can come and get 3 meals a day. And we've got to address that to start with and take care of our own. Thank you.
Okay. Now we will go to the closing statements, and Mr. McSwain, you will have the first 2 minutes.
Well, again, I want to thank the group for having us here tonight. And I think I'm preaching to the choir, because if you're here, you're interested enough that you're going to vote. I hope that those that are watching at home, we've had 2,200 people vote in the last 2 municipal elections. That's awful, and we need to do better. So please push your neighbors, push new residents. Let's have a good turnout this time. We are at least voting on important county issues also, which will help. I did not try to take any of my time, which as you can tell, I like to talk too much anyway, telling you about me. Please visit my website, butchmcswain.com, to see what I have done with my life. I'm proud of what I have accomplished. Got a wonderful wife back there who has helped me be able to do these things. And since everybody's thanking everybody, thank you. 2 points real quickly that I hope I can make to finish up some of the other conversations. Broughton property. Think of, and I don't remember where I heard this first, think of how nice it would be to have a medical university somewhere decide that a psychiatric wing would work well there with the availability of a state hospital there in J. Iverson Riddle just right across the interstate. If that could be pursued with somebody, I think that has some real potential in there. Homeless, I think one thing that has been a mystery to me, and again, I am a board member of one of those organizations, is we need, Alan, the same type summit or something similar to where all those organizations get together and tell each other what we're doing so that we can have some unified approach to tackling that problem. I was going to say, when my stop sign appeared, I can't imagine somebody visiting this town being very impressed with the group of people under the trees in town or hiding in bushes. So I hope we can address that, and thank you.
Mr. Simmons, your closing statement.
I love Morganton, and I'm proud to be a part of a progressive, beautiful little town. We have the lowest crime rate in the state, with credit going to our Department of Public Safety. We have an excellent electric and water department that are second to none. Our recreation department offers several youth programs, state parks, soccer fields, water parks, and an excellent greenway walking trail. No town close can compare. I'm not here before you this afternoon trying to take credit for all this, but for the past 8 years I have been a part of it. I have always supported Morganton and its citizens by trying to keep taxes and service fees low as possible and ask for your support. Thank you.
And then Mr. Crouch.
Thank you, Alan. And thanks again for everyone for being here. I don't have closing statements written out. I decided I'd just, give you who I really am and off the cuff. As I said, I'm just really invested in this city. I really love this place. And I have had the privilege of meeting so many amazing people, so many small business owners, nonprofit workers, religious leaders, and actually, getting down and dirty and doing the hard work of keeping our city clean, and doing the things that make this city great. And I want to continue to do that. I'd appreciate the opportunity to do that on the council. I believe I offer, amongst most of the candidates here tonight, a unique perspective as far as being one of the only people of a younger generation running for city council. And I think it's time that we offer that diversity of perspective on the council. And I think, and just provide a greater accessibility and transparency of our city council and of our city to our citizens. I think my role is to represent everyone and not just my interest or what I think is the best thing to do, or what's going on with my friends. I think it's everyone is what matters, and I think that would be my job, and I hope to have the opportunity to serve you on city council. So thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite the candidates from District 2, James Bagley, Chris Jernigan, and Larry Wisnett.
got the tags.
All right, once again, we will go through the same process that we did with the prior candidates. You'll have 2 minutes for an opening statement. You will have 3 questions. You'll have 1 minute to answer each of those questions, and then 2 minutes for your closing statement. And I will rotate those questions for you. First, with an opening statement, will be Mr. Bagley.
Hi everyone, I'm James Bagley, and I'd first like to thank the Burke Chamber and WPCC for sponsoring this important event. So I could not be more excited to be running for Morganton City Council District 2 seat. I made the decision to run official in January of this year based on the belief that it is time we bring new blood to the City Council. A little about me: in 2002 I graduated from Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida with a degree in history featuring the concentrations of the U.S. Civil War and World War II, so I'm a huge history buff. I'm the father of 3 children, 2 young girls and 1 angel baby, and fortunate to be married to one Jennifer Bagley, who is a state employee as well as the organist at Grace Episcopal Church. After seeking some kind of role in community service a few years ago, I was subsequently appointed to the Community Appearance Advisory Committee in 2017. Since having worked with the commission, I have adopted a total of 3 city roads which work in concert with my other role of roadside cleanup event coordinator with the ultra-popular social media group and nonprofit Let's Act Army Burke County. As grocery manager at the East Fleming Drive Food Line, I have pursued our store to adopt Bethel Road under the state's Adopt a Highway program. Adopting roads for quarterly cleanups can save both state and city funding that may be utilized for critical roles elsewhere within their respective budgets. The other benefit, of course, is to have our local community members play an active role in the continued beautification efforts of where we live. I am looking forward to pushing the agenda of a cleaner and safer streets, free of litter and drug paraphernalia, while helping the homeless in our area get the resources they need so that they may also adequately contribute to our society in a positive way. With these goals in mind, my hope is to represent the council well with the observed accomplishments of past community leaders such as Andy Kistler, John Cantrell, and Bill Allman. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jernigan, you're next, please.
Good evening. I want to add my thanks to the sponsors and to all of you who are with us live and on air. My name is Chris Jernigan, and I would like to ask you to vote for me for Morganton City Council. You may ask why I deserve your vote. The answer is quite simple. I love Morganton. I cherish her history, I enjoy her present, and I am excited about her future. I've lived in Morganton for 27 years, and I'm proud to call her home. And I'm honored to have been accepted by those who have made her what she is today. I'm certain that you are as concerned as I am about the future of the city and want to see it continue on a path of positive growth without becoming overgrown or losing its hometown charm. I believe that Morganton is on the right path for exactly that type of future, a future filled with exciting new possibilities and opportunities brought about by careful planning and wise decision-making. I am excited about the new School of Science and Math, the new Broughton Hospital, the new restaurants, stores, and accommodations that have recently come or are planned to open soon. I believe that these are the types of occurrences that will attract industry and businesses to locate here and developers to invest in housing and other opportunities. I also believe that in order to take advantage of these opportunities, the leaders of Morganton must be forward thinkers who have a vast array of experience and knowledge on which to rely when making important decisions. I have those experiences in my background. Having spent the last 30 years leading a small local nonprofit with a budget of $300,000 to what is today a leader in family services across North Carolina with a budget of over $5 million. Likewise, I have a great deal of experience working in many community volunteer capacities that has allowed me to work with and gain insight from citizens of Morganton from all walks of life. I have the experience and knowledge to help Morganton continue to move in a positive direction. Thank you.
Thank you, and then Mr. Wisnett.
Thank you folks for coming. My name's Larry Wisnett. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a lifelong resident of Morganton. I'm a retired major with the Department of Public Safety with 30 years of service. I'm also a graduate of the FBI National Academy, as well as being nationally Homeland Security Firearms certified. I'm a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Mason, a member of the Oasis Temple Shrine in Charlotte. I don't have a lot of degrees to impress you with, but I do have a degree in common sense, hard work, and helping people who need a hand up instead of a hand out. I was elected to the Morganton City Council in 1995. I served 16 years, moved out of my district, and chose not to run against my friend Forrest Fleming in District 2. Now that he's retired and I am seeking that seat, my commitment is to listen to the citizens of Morganton in order to promote progress, consensus, provide a safe environment, value our city employees, promote a business-friendly environment, and value the traits of a true city of character. Address smart growth, traffic challenges, physical responsibility, young adult concerns, and careful plans with citizens' input of future projects, which is very important to me to listen to the community's concerns. May my past service that I have done for this community speak for me.
And now we'll go on to the questions. The first one will go to Mr. Jernigan. And if you would, you heard it, describe your vision for the redevelopment of the Broughton campus and what role the City of Morganton can play in that effort.
Already, there are some great opportunities, I think, that are facing us with the Broughton property. Opportunities for housing, opportunities for new retail, opportunities maybe even to help address the homeless problem that could be taken care of there. Other industry that might could come in there. Beautiful parks. I think we've just got this fabulous place that so many people would love to have in their downtown, in their city. And we need to take advantage of it, and I think it's the responsibility of the city leaders to be the ones to drive that, to be reaching out to developers, to reach out to the county, to reach out to the state and federal government to attract funding and incentives that we could use to help develop that property.
I don't think it adds much to what my opponent has said. There is a great opportunity there. One thing I think probably we could use that for was divide that property up into buildings in some kind of small pods like for small businesses, such as small engine repair, or craft shops, mom and pop businesses, some kind of small business that could go into that building that would create more influx of people coming into the community, and as well as making employment. And the city needs to get behind all this and do what they can to bring that building to the front for us. It does have tremendous possibilities. And what kind of possibilities, we don't know yet, but once we get into it, I think we'll find a lot more.
Mr. Bagley.
I appreciate the question. I think for me, I'd like to see we use some of the buildings for new businesses that we're trying to attract to come in, while keeping the historical aesthetic that's so unique to the old Broughton campus. It's such an amazing place, especially if you've ever been on any of the ghost tours. And you know, we could even have a section of it be as a museum as well. But we're pretty excited about the new Broughton campus as well. I think that'll be great transition and great for those new patients coming, because it has a lot more capabilities than the older Broughton campus. Thank you.
Thank you. The second question, what steps would you take to support the shortage of affordable and workforce housing and with Morganton and Burke County? And Mr. Wisness, if you will start with that one.
Well, there's been a lot said about that from other folks that's on the board here, but one thing that hasn't been brought up that I've noticed when driving around over Morganton, there's a lot of vacant houses. a tremendous amount of vacant houses. And my question, I guess, why are they vacant? Are they vacant because rules and regulations are too strong? They don't have the funds or the financial ability to bring these homes up to standard to be sold or rented. The city needs to get involved with this and find out. It's good, and as much as I love this city, at times it's like dealing with a foreign country. And I know because I've had 46 years of experience doing that. But I think we need to look at those empty houses and start there and find out why they're empty. There's apartment complexes that are. There's a reason for all this. We need to find out what that reason is.
Well, this is actually an issue that millennials are asking about. And specifically, we have a lot of older buildings downtown that just aren't being used. I think we could really do a lot to gentrify those in a proper way. But we need to use a lot of these older buildings and just kind of keep going after those older businesses in the past, make them useful for our future going forward. Because the housing issue is perhaps the biggest issue happening right now for Morganton. And we really need to be avid about going after it and solving it. And I think we can do it. I think we can all do it together. But it's going to take everybody's input and the community as a whole.
Jernigan. I agree that it takes everyone working together, and I think one of the first things I would like to do is learn more about who the developers and contractors are in our city and in other cities who've tried to tackle this problem. I'd like to learn more about our zoning regulations that may be preventing some folks from coming here who could build some apartment complexes, who could build more affordable housing. And I'd also like to find out more about incentives. I know there are incentives available. I know a lot of them are locked up. They can't be used for this or that. But one of the things I do is think outside of the box. I don't like it when some folks say you can't do that or that's not available to us. I want to find out why. I want to go and see, okay, if I can't use those funds, why can't we go to the state and get these funds? Maybe we could use some funds to help build infrastructure and do those things that might help bring developers in that could build affordable housing.
Thank you. All right, and now we'll go on to the third question, and this one seems to be one that everybody has an opinion on, and that is, let's back up one here, the homeless situation. How would you go about addressing this, and what steps would you like to see taken through the city council? And that would go to Mr. Bagley first.
Well, I really appreciate this particular issue is as I've worked with the Let's Act Army Burke County. We have a forum coming up later this month. It's going to be dealing with the homeless issue. But the homeless issue is really complicated. There's also, you have the homeless issue, why people are homeless due to various issues with circumstances with them being either involved in drug use or just hard on their luck. You also have the panhandling problem. Panhandling is completely different, in my opinion. I don't believe that we should have panhandlers around here. I think we need to do something about it rather quickly. Walmart refuses to do anything about it. The company I work for, Food Lion, well, we always move those people on because they're taking advantage of the people in Morganton. So, but with the homeless population here, I think you got a couple of different aspects. Well, I'll revisit in my closing. I appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. Journey?
This is a very complex issue and one that I see every day. I live right in the middle of downtown Morganton above the Kin to Kin restaurant, and the homeless hang out right at my front door. And I've seen the problem one way all my life until recently when one of the homeless that I have gotten to know said, "So you're running for city council, what are you going to do about homelessness?" Which really shocked me because she sees it as a problem that she wants to find an answer to as well. She'd like to be able to get a job and find a place to live, and she's got difficulties doing that, and no one has answered it. Not that folks aren't trying. There are a lot of folks trying to help, and I think what we have to do is bring all of those folks together, the agencies that are serving are homeless, and they're doing a great job. We need to bring them together with city officials, with residents, and with the homeless population, representatives from the homeless, to talk about these issues. We need to look to other cities to see what they're doing and try to bring lots of cities together, because we're all trying to solve the same problem. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Wisnett on that question.
Well, I'll put my police hat on a minute about homelessness. For the years I worked at the Department of Public Safety, I found a lot of these homeless people had homes to go to. And for various reasons, because they drank, they were in drugs, or had family and behavior problems. I think if we start addressing this problem in the city, we need to find these people, find out where they actually came from. And we are a transit route for them. Mr. Simmons alluded to that, and that's very true. We need to find out who these people are, where their families are, and get their families involved in this. A lot of them have homes, but they choose not to go. Some of them don't. The ones that don't have homes, that's what we really need to concentrate on. And I think the city could form committees. We can talk to other cities, as Mr. Jernigan said, and see what they're doing before our problem gets bigger than what it is.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now we go to your closing statement, and Mr. Jernigan, you'll start.
Well, we've talked about some of the challenges, but it's hard to even imagine the great opportunities that are lying before us right now in Morganton. I have friends who live in similar sized cities who serve on committees similar to what I serve on here in the town. And they think I'm lying to them when I tell them about some of the things that we've got going on. They're envious as they can be. You think about it, in addition to the School of Science and Math and the new Broughton Hospital we've talked about, we have a major hotel being built right in the middle of downtown, a fabulous new top-notch skate park, amazing new galleries, craft stores, and boutiques. And we're developing a new outdoor entertainment and family enjoyment area around the historic courthouse that will be quite unbelievable. And it'll be the envy of all the cities around us. And there will be new opportunities that are offered to us through the Broughton Reuse Project, as we've talked about. We need to take every advantage of these opportunities and more. This is time to be innovative and bold, to continue to look for ways to attract developers and entrepreneurs who can invest in these opportunities with us. It is not a time to be timid or doubtful or stuck in the past. Innovative thinking is a must. Being open to new ideas and new ways to accomplish our goals of growth and prosperity are paramount. We need to be able to use every tool we can find, every grant, every partnership, every opportunity to move our city forward. We cannot look backwards. We must always be looking forward. I'm not saying that we throw caution to the wind. We have to be prudent. We have to calculate risk. We have to do our homework. But we have to be willing to get outside the box and take advantage of these opportunities. And we have to be willing to get outside the box if we're going to address these challenges that we're talking about tonight as well. I hope you will give me a chance to join the City Council, and I hope you will join with the journey to Morganton's future. I appreciate your vote and support. And there's more information about my background and experiences on my Facebook page and website. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wisnett?
My closing statement is going to be very simple. My family has served this community for over 100 years. Our roots run deep in this community. It is because of my commitment and love of this city that I stand before you tonight. If you want a council member who can devote 100% of their time to the city's business, a candidate who will not need 101 council training, who has experience, is sensible, accountable, responsible, accessible, and knowledgeable, Larry Weston is that candidate. Thank you.
And Mr. Bagley.
Appreciate it. So there was a concern about having homeless or people seemingly look homeless hang out downtown in the area, just not doing anything all day. I've heard some feedback from that. Well, I'll give you an example of there's a homeless shelter, specifically the Susie Fitzgerald Homeless Shelter for Women on White Street. Well, they have a certain time of the day that they have to leave in the morning, and then they have to come back by 6 p.m. at night. So they have to do something, okay? These people, they're really great people. They're homeless, okay? That's why they're there. But I think we need to be a little bit more cognizant of what their situation is, because they really do want to volunteer for roadside cleanups, for things for the community. So with that, I'm going to say that I'm prepared to contribute by ensuring that the unique character of our city stays intact while bringing fresh energy and ideas much needed for our city's future growth. Our younger generations here need inspired leadership that will reach out and include them as well as their input for our city's advancement. I had a prominent supporter state that our city needs a more plentiful supply of enticing late-night food options for the benefit of public safety for after when the breweries close. That's something we should consider. And also, I want to bring in, encourage businesses to start up that will be more long-lasting and sustainable, while at the same time assisting our current local businesses to grow and thrive. And finally, I'll say that I'm happy to contribute my remaining campaign funds to Olive Hill, a local economic development organization that has a passion to help those going through tough financial times. I'm dedicated to families raising their children in a safe environment with a healthy job market where everybody can benefit from the unity that we inspire in our community. Please vote for me. I'm the Tar Heel Blue guy.
Thank you, candidates. We appreciate your time this evening.
Appreciate it.
And then finally, we have Francis Hildebran from the town of Valdez, who will make a 3-minute statement. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chamber of Commerce, for hosting tonight's forum and inviting municipalities to participate. Hi, I'm Frances Hildebran, running for re-election to the Town of Valdez Council. It has been my privilege to serve Valdez not as a politician, but as a community advocate who was raised and educated in this community. I loved our town as a child, and I love it even more today. I truly appreciate our town's unique personality and culture, and especially the people that make our community very special. I have an excellent working knowledge of city and county government because I have worked in county and municipal government for 32 years and served on the town council for 8 years. That's 40 years of my life I have given to public service, not because I had to, but because I enjoy what I do, and there's no hidden agenda. With my background and experience, I am the most qualified candidate. I can ask the questions that help to keep the town transparent. I'm very confident and independent representative with great respect for the community and every citizen. I can be trusted to do the very best thing for Valdez. I am passionate about our town, and I take my leadership role seriously. I have worked hard to maintain a financially viable town with good leadership and economic stability. As of June 30th, our unassigned fund balance increased from approximately 18% to 66%. As a community advocate, I am for growth and diversity that enhances while preserving our existing neighborhoods, such as code enforcement to bring properties up to standards, preserving our natural amenities, such as our 300-acre lakeside park. I am so proud of the rich history of our current residents and future generations. Valdez is an innovative town focused on cultural, economic, and environmental sustainability. We have launched social media for our citizens, code red emergency communication. We are transparent, and we keep our citizens up to date and informed. Our goal is to maintain a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. 3 out of the last 5 years, Valdez has been designated as one of the safest towns in North Carolina, where we value and respect the rights and differences of everyone. Valdez is a strong community because we unite with our merchants, businesses, and industries by supporting their goals and then celebrate their successes. We just celebrated Meridian Industries, who has a one-of-a-kind operation in North America, and Kellex Seating, who has received the North Carolina Business Conversationalist of the Year of Outstanding Effort by an Industry. We encourage growth and rehabilitation of our town through careful planning. We have approximately 400 lots on Lake Roadhis, and a developer is proposing 60 apartments in our downtown. The North Carolina Main Street program has helped bring more life to the downtown and provides an improved quality of life and standard of living for our citizens that reflects the unique heritage and culture in our town. Valdez is thriving due to our citizens, our business owners, and our elected officials. We put the health of our community before our own personal agendas, and if I am re-elected, I will work hard to continue our journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shirley. Let's have a last round of applause for all of our candidates. I want to thank you all for being here. Once again, thanks to everyone on the screen who was our partner with this. Thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for putting this on this evening. Now it gets to the important part. You've been here, you've heard the information. Now it's time to go out and do the right thing and vote. It doesn't work unless you vote. Early voting begins on October the 16th. The election is Tuesday, November the 5th. You heard the numbers of the people who voted in the City of Morganton last time in 2015. Guys, we got to do better than that. Get your friends out to vote. Voting is your right and it's your responsibility. Thank you for being here today, and I hope you all have a good evening.